Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Topic Talks. I have Brandon here
Hello, guys.
with Matthew.
Hello.
Matthew, we're going to talk about movies a little bit, but before we talk about that, I want to just get your opinion on something that we were talking about before we broke. The previous story we were talking about was a girl who she sent a photo of her prom dress that she wanted to wear. Her mom spent $500 on it, sent a picture of it to her principal, and her principal said no, it was too revealing. But it was a long dress with only like an inch or two of midriff showing. What do you think about that, Matthew?
I think that's totally wrong on the principal's part. I think there's nothing wrong with midriff. I think, I mean, I have not seen the dress admittedly, but I think many instances like this, we are putting a lot of blame on the women for, generally speaking, heterosexual men objectifying them, when that's not the case. A woman's body is not an object, yet we always treat it that way. And I think what we need are more instances where the woman's empowered and told, no, that dress is okay. Any man who objectifies her in that dress, they are the ones who are in the wrong.
Yeah, I totally agree. I I don't know. It's just something about how it was. Like I understand that send a picture in because there are those girls that try to get really short dresses.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I think I just kind of they didn't really say, but it kind of sounded like they also wanted to see it on the girl because you could buy a short dress and on a short person it would be fine, but on a really tall person
Yep.
it's not. So I think that there's a second portion of this, but where I got it from I didn't see because it said like wait until they see it on her. So I feel like they're gonna go back to the principal with her wearing it, say look it doesn't show that much, and see maybe a little bit more. See, I actually like dresses where like the back, like there's no back in it. It's got like a couple straps, and then
Mm-hmm.
it like a little comes down to like a little bit of their belly showing. It's a good style of a dress.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually very popular too. I know where we went to school, it was pretty popular.
Yeah, for a while there. I mean, can't say it still is. I don't really know, but
Well, it's been a while since both of us were in high school, so
Well, I know 3 years ago it was popular when I graduated, so.
okay, so we know for sure 3 years ago it was popular.
Oh wait, no, when we DJ'd at Genesee, they still was wearing them.
Okay, so they are still popular. You heard it from a DJ himself. When Brennan and I DJ'd a dance, we saw that. Anyway, also, I want to say Happy Pi Day to you, Matthew.
Happy Pi Day.
Um,
3.14 something or other.
And
yes,
and Happy Nap Day.
and Happy Nap Day. Apparently, it is Nap Day. That is trending on Twitter.
Mm.
So you better get your nap in today. So on to what we actually brought you on here. We're gonna talk about movies. I
All
went
right.
I went to the movies recently and I saw a couple movies. One of them was hilarious and very dirty. The other one was kind of clean and wasn't nearly as funny. I don't know if it was the order that I watched them in or what. April and I went to the movies and we watched Dirty Grandpa. Hilarious movie. It was really bad dirty wise,
Oh, Dirty Grandpa, I mean.
but I mean that's kind of in the title. It was horrible, but it was a funny horrible. Like you would probably think it was a really bad movie. Well, I can't say that for sure. It was really it wasn't just it had Robert De Niro in it. How wrong can you go with Robert De Niro though?
Um, from what I've heard, quite wrong.
Really?
Well, the thing is, don't get me wrong, I absolutely adore De Niro. I did consider seeing this film, however, once the reviews came out, I decided not to. I think it is an interesting mix, having this old man playing this dirty grandpa and everything, and then Zac Efron, who I hear is doing great in a lot of comedies.
He's doing really
Um,
good.
yeah, it's like I think they had a good setup at least, but I don't know. I think all they went for was raunchy comedy. That's just not enough for me. And again, talking about objectification of women, just the trailer alone, I don't know, it kind of made me uncomfortable a little. So I'm not sure if I would have enjoyed that one. Like I said, maybe I'll give it a chance one day just because De Niro. But he still has acting talent. I mean, it's not like he's bad or anything. One that he was in recently that was really good was with Anne Hathaway called The Intern.
Oh, that was an awesome movie.
Oh, it was really good. I love the commentary on feminism and ageism, or well, sexism and ageism. Sorry.
Okay, so for the people that haven't seen it, when it loads real quick, I'm gonna give you kind of what Dirty Grandpa was about, so you kind of know what we're talking about. I'm
All
looking
right.
for the little. Okay. It doesn't give one. I'm on IMDb and it really doesn't give one. Oh, right here it is. Right before his wedding, an uptight guy is tricked into driving his grandfather, a a former Army lieutenant colonel, to Florida for spring break. Now, I'll give you a little bit more. His grandfather, his grandmother just died, and his grandfather tricked him, which the grandfather is played by Robert De Niro. The grandson is played by Zac Efron. De Niro's character tricked Zac Efron's character into driving him to Florida, to a part where him and his wife went every year. Turns out was actually to spring break. Now, there is a whole plot line throughout the entire story. So you get to the end and it kind of all comes together of why this whole trip had happened, but I don't want to give too much away. That's one thing that I really liked about it is, yes, it did have a lot of really raunchy comedy like elements to it. It was a very raunchy comedy, but when you get to the end of it, it's gets a little bit more heartwarming in the end.
Mm-hmm.
Because you kind of see what Zac Efron's character is dealing with his soon to be wife, and it kind of just makes you I don't know. I felt like it came together really well. Have you seen the trailer for it, Brandon?
No, I have not. I'm never really home or anywhere around to watch one.
It's De Niro's character swears a lot. Like I said, overall I thought it was a pretty good movie, and you've just got to watch for that storyline in the end. But overall, I thought it was pretty funny. Another one that Matthew just brought up was The Intern. And again, for those of you who haven't seen it, The Intern had Robert De Niro in it with Anne Hathaway, and it was about Anne Hathaway, who was what was she? A CEO of a Fortune 500 company that she started in her basement. Is that kind of what it was?
Maybe not quite Fortune 500, but yeah, it was an independent business she started on her own.
A big independent business that she started on her own. It was like online shopping type of business, and she's doing so much that her company thinks she should take on an intern with everybody when everybody else takes on interns. And her and this guy, his wife had just died, and he'd been retired for years and did everything he wanted to do after he retired and got bored. And he decided to sign up for this internship, and it's just kind of funny. You see kind of his old school way of doing things. He gets out the suitcase, or the briefcase, and all this, and he's kind of learning the technology through this entire movie. But it's fun to watch the bond between the two. Originally, Anne Hathaway's character is like, I don't need an intern, and doesn't let him do anything, and he kind of just nudges his way and kind of proves himself, that he's worthy to work for her. And again, April and my girlfriend and I went and saw that one, and I thought it was a really good movie.
I thought it was excellent, but I think just to amend what you said a little bit there, what I liked about it was, he's this older guy. It's not like has anything to prove. He's just trying to, relieve his boredom. And, when they form their friendship, it's not that he's trying to weasel his way in or prove that he's the best or anything. It's just he's doing what he thinks would help her. It's like he's actually concerned about her, and he does put her interests first, even if that means keeping his distance initially from her when he doesn't when she doesn't want him around. So
Right.
to me, I thought that was a very creative way because I feel like that's a pretty respectful guy there. That's not something I always see when we have these type of movies. So
It actually kind of surprised me. I wasn't really sure going into the movie what to think about it, but then I ended up really liking the movie. You know, you have kind of like everybody had kind of has these standards for movies. You have the
hmm
ones that are so good you have to buy it on DVD. Those that you'll see in the $5 bin and you have to have it if it's in the $5 bin, but you won't buy it for regular price. And then you have those movies that you just kind of like, you might rent it or you go and see it in the theater and that'll be it. And then you have the movies that you just won't ever see again. You didn't like them at all. And for me, this was one of those movies that I want to go out and buy it. I want to watch it again
same.
because I don't know, it's got more than just that storyline going on. It's also got, what's going on in her life and, is it her company or her family? She kind of has to, they're trying to force her to choose and he kind of swoops in and helps take a little bit of the load off of her, just because he genuinely cares.
And
And
again, the neat part about that is, I don't want to spoil a whole lot, obviously, but again, it goes a little beyond that, where it's not just oh, she has to choose, because that's really uh, one of the storylines that plagues a lot of female businesswoman characters in films, where it's like a woman can only have the family or she has the business. It's not like she can straddle the line in between like a man normally does. And in this one, it's like they do a good job where it's like she is doing both of them, and that's totally okay. That's legit. So I really like that.
yeah, and like I said, it's one of those where like it in the beginning they're kind of tugging her one way or the other, and she's managing, but everybody else doesn't think that she is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's a movie that starts that stereotype. Like it starts off kind of like everybody's trying to make her choose one or the other, and she's like, no, I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it. And so it just kind of shows. Um, I don't know. I thought Robert De Niro played a really nice, honest, caring character, and he betrayed
Yeah.
it really well.
Yep.
Have you seen this movie, Brandon, or seen the trailer?
I have seen the trailer.
What'd you think of the trailer? By
I really wanted to go see it, but I never really had time to go see it, and yeah.
yeah, Brandon, it would be a recommended movie from me. I really highly recommend it. I like once I said I'll say it again. I really liked the movie. I thought it was not just a good storyline, it was put together really well too. The production and the time that went into it looks like it really paid off. So, another one that I wanted to emphasize, another movie, is Alice Through the Looking Glass. This is the second in the Alice in Wonderland series. It again has Johnny Depp and has all the original characters that you saw. And have you heard anything about that, Matthew?
For Through the Looking Glass, I've heard a little bit about it. I mean, a lot of it I think is kind of new territory, though. It's hard telling what they're going to do with it. And a lot of it is just, I think the Mad Hatter's missing, and there's something with a Time Lord character, it seems. That's about it. From my understanding, this has no basis really in Lewis Carroll's original work.
Really?
So, no, Lewis Carroll did do a sequel to Alice in Wonderland, and it was called Through the Looking Glass. I don't believe this is a direct adaptation of that, though. I think it's kind of a loose adaptation, just as much as the last Alice in Wonderland movie was in 2010.
Actually, looking it up, there said that there was an Alice Through the Looking Glass, Lion and the Unicorn, and that was made in 19. Let me find it. Oh, that was a series, apparently. It was 1965 to 1996. Apparently that was a series. Yeah, anyway, I was actually cool. I saw the trailer for it. Brendan, have you seen the trailer for that at all?
No, I have not.
It's a really cool trailer. It's interesting. Like, you really don't know what to think of the movie. It almost kind of looks like it has too much going on.
Well, I think that's a little hard to say because at the same time, I mean, there is a lot going on in this movie, but I think that's kind of the awesome part about Alice in Wonderland. Especially I absolutely love the original, the Disney animated one that they did. I think that was like 50s or 60s that was done. And Wonderland is a crazy place. I mean, they just go around like hopping from place to place, and there's such weird things going on. They're just inexplicable. It doesn't necessarily tie up in the end unless you want to search for maybe some deeper meaning, symbolism, and such. But and I think that's could be the neat part about the new one here. But I honestly can't tell if they're going to do that, or if it's just going to be some loosely constructed story just to bring us back, just as an excuse to bring us back to Wonderland and make more money on a sequel, I guess. So,
Yeah, all it says on IMDb is Alice returns to the whimsical world of Wonderland and travels back into time to save the Mad Hatter. So
and
that
that's the part. Yeah, and I'm not a huge fan of that idea there. It's like, to me, the neat part about Alice is it's the movie's about her. She's exploring this weird world. It's why is it all about the Mad Hatter? I think Johnny Depp did, his normal quirky job in the last one as Hatter. I'm not totally sold on it though. I'm not sure if I necessarily want more of it, but I will accept more of the Cheshire Cat because I loved him in this adaptation.
he was one of my favorite characters. I really did
Yeah.
like Johnny Depp's Mad Hatter. And I don't feel like it's all about him. I feel like it's about the fact that, because the old movie was kind of based on the fact that she was the savior. She was here to save them.
Yep.
So I feel like it's not really about him. It's about her being the savior again. They have
Yep.
another problem and she needs to come and fix it. So, and from the trailer, it looks like she, it's called Through the Looking Glass. So instead of running down a rabbit hole, it looks like she walks through a piece of glass, which the effects on that were pretty cool, at least in the trailer.
Oh yeah, when I mean, again, I'll give them credit. It's like, as much as I have issues with maybe the storylines, because I didn't care for the story all that much, the main story in the last movie either. But special effects, and just the creativity that they come up with for these movies are really spectacular. In the I'm not sure which trailer it is. It had to be one of the first ones. She steps through the mirror, and then everything's opposite. As far as like the room is oriented, but you have like these small details, like this tiger rug, and it starts like roaring. It's like, what's up with that? I love that though. I like the insanity behind it all.
Well, and I actually think this is a good role for Johnny Depp because he always has kind of had like that insanity kind of. He's always played those kind of characters, like Edward Scissorhands. That was kind of like a weird, wacky kind of role. Along with a lot of other things that he's played. He can be very serious though. I mean, he's played in Deathly Hallow. It's Deathly Hallows, I think. I think is the movie. He played in a Sleepy Hollow is what it is.
Sleepy. I was gonna say, yeah.
I'm like Deathly Hallows. That was
Harry Potter.
Harry Potter. It was Hollow something. He played in Sleepy Hollow, and I love that movie from the first time I watched it. Don't get me wrong, it's very creepy, but for the type of movie that is, they did an awesome job with that movie. So he is one good actor, but I feel like there's sometimes a wacky, like in Pirates of the Caribbean, he kind of had this wacky pirate character. I feel like
Yeah.
this is kind of like a perfect match for him as the Mad Hatter.
See, I have to disagree, Jen. I just feel that we've ever since Jack Sparrow, we've been seeing the same role, that same wackiness over and over again. I'm kind of getting tired of it. I mean, I'm still willing to go see it. I'll still be there for the next Pirates movie and everything. I think in the original, Jack Sparrow was really good, but I don't know. He's a bit of hit and miss for me. Like he did that movie Mordecai last year. That was terrible. Most people said. But then he also did. He played the wolf in Into the Woods, and I thought he did great in that. He was in the movie Black Mass last year, and I heard he was really good in that too. So he has the talent. I just feel like lately he hasn't quite been showing it. So
I I, I disagree a little bit. I feel like okay, when he played Tonto in The Lone Rider a little
ooh,
while
that was
ago,
bad.
but I feel like that was kind of like the same from the commercial. I got that was kind of the same wackiness. It was trying to be like the Jack Sparrow wackiness that you're talking about.
Yeah.
I feel like his Mad Hatter was more wacky than anything. You know, Jack Sparrow could be serious at certain points, and the Mad Hatter is literally just mad. I feel like he's got the character of that down, but I do understand what you're saying. He has done a lot of movies where, you know, they're trying to capture that Jack Sparrow character. Like they came out with how many Pirates of the Caribbean? I watched the first one.
They're
And
coming out with a fifth here soon.
why?
Well, Orlando Bloom will be back, so I'm excited. I'm sorry.
Well, I don't know. I feel like they should have just left it. You know,
They should have at like number 3. I saw number 4 about a year or two ago.
I can't even remember what
I
number
finally
4 was
referenced
about.
it was bad. It was so bland. I mean, it was really, really bland. I didn't care about anything that happened. The 5th one, maybe they'll breathe new life into the franchise. I'm really not sure. I think it comes out next year, so it's still too early to tell. We know nothing about it, but it's called, I think, Dead Men Tell No Tales.
What about you, Brandon? What do you think of the Pirates of the Caribbean series or Alice in Wonderland?
I know that the first Alice in Wonderland again, I thought it was kind of cool how they kind of did like all the mystical stuff. They actually tried to do an awesome job of that. Pirates of the Caribbean, I liked the first couple ones, and after that, like the third one, I just kind of forgot about after the third one.
Yeah, I watched the first one and it took me a lot to watch the first one. I didn't really from the trailer I was like, it's not really a movie for me. And I watched it, and it was funny, and it was one of those I'm not gonna run out and buy the Pirates of the Caribbean series. I just won't do it. You know, I've seen them on TV, and a friend of mine left me one of them. I can't even remember which one it was. I don't know. I just feel like it wasn't that well put together as a movie. I think they should have just left it at 1 and been done. And then they over pushed it and went to 4, and I think they should have just let it go.
Yeah,
It's done. You know, you beat it until it's dead. Let it lie. Don't try to revive it with I don't know. But there's probably a lot of people who have said that about Doctor Who too. You know, don't revive it. It's dead.
Yep.
But it's huge now.
Not on Netflix.
Apparently not on Netflix. For those of you that don't know, that are listening, Doctor Who was removed from Netflix as of January 4th, I think it was.
Oh man, really?
Yep.
I know a lot of people watched it though. That kind of surprised me.
Well, they're not making another season until 2017 either.
Okay, yeah. I was hearing I think they want Capaldi back, right?
No, nobody wants Capaldi back.
No? Okay.
Well, I don't want Capaldi back.
I want
Maybe
Tennant
he
back.
was interested in coming back. Maybe that's what I heard.
Well, he would have to come back. I don't know how they ended the series, but he would have to come back at least for one episode.
Oh, for the new Doctor?
Well, yeah, they would have to show a regeneration, at least to stay true to the show.
I forgot you never seen the last episode.
I have not seen the last episode. What happened in the last episode, Brendan?
I'm not gonna tell you.
Tell me.
No, it'll ruin it for you.
I know that Clara dies.
Yeah, she does.
Yeah. No, anyway, but if they didn't end it with a regeneration, they may he will have to come back for another, well, at least one show, or enough for them to get a storyline for him to regenerate. And that's if they stay true to the original show. When Capaldi was there, they got rid of, I don't know, I feel like they kind of jumped off the Doctor Who bandwagon and kind of did whatever they wanted to. They got rid of some of the key elements that made Doctor Who,
Like the Sonic sunglasses.
Oh, that was so stupid. So stupid. Did you hear about that, Matthew?
I did, but in their defense a little bit, I don't know, sometimes it's good to break tradition because you can yield some really interesting results. If, at least in my opinion, I know it kind of split, there's split opinion on it, but if anyone out there reads the Batman comics they're doing right now, Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo are finishing this month, I think, issue 50. So they've done 50 comics so far, and I won't spoil it, but they did some very interesting things with their last story arc for the character that, again, broke a lot of tradition, and I think it paid off. So I'm for it, but at the same time, instances such as this with the Sonic sunglasses or where, sometimes it doesn't work. You take the risk and it doesn't pay off.
Okay, Matthew. Well, I'd like to thank you again for coming on our show. We've only got about 3 minutes left, so thank you for coming on our show. We're always glad to have you.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
Anytime we talk movies, we will be contacting you and giving you a call.
All right.
Thank you again, Matthew.
No problem.
Bye.
Bye.
Everybody, that was Matthew Holland. He is a good friend of mine. We work together at a Mexican restaurant, actually. But so he is our new movie expert. Anyway, so that is our show for today. Tune in next week. I will post what our topics will be about halfway through the week. And hopefully Zach will be able to appear for his corner. I don't know what happened. I think we kind of ran out of time. Something might have come up. He hasn't contacted me at all. So hopefully we'll be able to get our first one, Zach's Corner, next week. Until next week, I'm Aaron Klingesmith.
And I'm Brandon Buffy.
Signing off.